recording. Hey everyone, welcome. We are glad that you are here, that you're watching with us. We're going to be detailing our holy moment for Advent and Christmas. We're calling this one Light. It's fun we're calling this Launching Light or Light Launch. It's a lot of fun. We're grateful that here we are at the close of October and getting excited for all that will come for families and kids and intergenerational work in congregations. And so I'm going to start with turning it over to Elizabeth Christie. Elizabeth is our curriculum writer for Holy Moments, and she's done a great job with Light, and I'd love to turn it over to her.
Thank you. Hey, friends, I'm glad to be here with you. If we've never been on Zoom together, you need to know two things. A, I am pathetic with technology. So if I'm fumbly with slides, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. I keep practicing, but I'm a little pathetic. Second thing you need to know is that I am the mother of 7 children, and just about all of them are here right now, including my dog, who's literally on my feet at the moment. So you may hear some funky sounds. Just know that they're the focus group that helped bring this to you. So think of it that way. So a little bit about where Holy Moments comes from. We started developing 40 hours together back in Lent. We thought it would be fun to give families something to do together, like 40, just a goal of 40 hours together throughout Lent. And that grew into, wouldn't it be cool to have something for every liturgical season? So that's where this started coming about. These are resources that I use with my own family and I use with congregations when I work with them. In addition to working with PRC, I am on staff in a local congregation and I consult with other congregations. So I work with all sizes. I work with all stages. Whatever configuration you're in, I've probably been there. So I am not a formal person. If you have questions as we're going along and you want to just ask, that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that at all. You can also use the chat. I will try to watch that. When I come up for breath, I will look at that a lot better. But if you have a pressing...
I've got my eyes on the chat, so I can be looking there as well.
That's amazing about that. So please don't hesitate to raise any questions. So without further ado, you can watch my terrible tech skills as I try to share. Hi. Did it, hot diggity. So that's not even the slide I wanted there. That's the one I wanted. Haha. Okay, so what is Light? We've got resources for congregations and we've got resources for families. So you can purchase just the congregation pack. You could purchase just the family pack. You could purchase both. Let me tell you what's in them. The congregation pack gives you Advent in a box, and I am literally using this. I'm in the middle of prepping it with a reluctant 12-year-old in the church where I am, calls it Sunday school. Doesn't really want to attend classes, but she wants to do this sort of thing, so she's helping me get that together. Family retreat plans, there are 2 of them this time. Mission project, there should be an S at the end of that. There are 3 mission projects included in this. Bedtime stories and prayers plan, out the door blessings. Those are things that you can text to families at the beginning of the week and they pray over each other as they head on out for the week ahead. Plans for 2 separate parent or caregiver book clubs and playground suggestions. So things that you would put into your playground. The family pack includes read alouds or read alongs for all ages and stages. The goal is not working on a kid's decoding skills. The goal is for families to enjoy story together and wonder together how this story fits in with God's story, and wonder then even further how they all fit in together as part of God's great story. Visio Divina practice, which we can talk about later about how I will take it apart and use it as enrichment material with my Sunday school kids and my own children. Family hikes, collaborative art prompts, and bedtime blessings, which is my 3-year-old's favorite part of all of this. If he knew more about the collaborative art prompts, because I don't do them all with him, he would probably also really love that too. So that's what's in the packs. There are tiered pricing. So whatever size you can see on the website, we'll link to that. You will see what you would pay based on your attendance in worship. The family pack includes, as I said, the read alouds, read alongs, the Visio Divina family hikes, collaborative art prompts, and bedtime blessings. You can purchase this, let's say, just for your family, the people in your house, you want that just for your family, you can do that. But you can also so like there's Elizabeth the mother, and there's Elizabeth the children's minister. Elizabeth the mother could purchase this just for the wackadoodles in her house. Elizabeth the children's minister could purchase this for all the families that she is working with at the congregation where she is. If you purchase just for your family, you can't do what I'm about to talk about. But if you purchase for the families in your congregation, you can do this. And you have options on how you're going to distribute the materials inside of the family pack. You can print things. You can then mail them. Kids do love mail. I would not print and mail everything. It's not going to get read. Find the things that matter. You can set up a Dropbox or a Google Drive file and share things that way. That's my favorite way to do it because most of the parents I'm working with are very digitally based, but I will print out select things and put them for people to pick up as they are signing kids in or signing them out. And you can text or email these. The PDFs will go easily, and there are also JPEGs involved. So you could use either one of those. Email, they both go very easily through email, and text also works. So this is what I would do with the family pack. I would take that Visio Divina and I would have that ready to send at 4 p.m. every Sunday evening. And that's a very purposeful time. I have found that that's when parents and caregivers are scrolling through their phones, getting ready for the week, getting the grocery list, who's got what practice. They're scrolling to see what's up. 4 p.m. that lands and they will see it and they might say, okay, I'm going to start this so I can come back to this when we are sitting in the carpool line. 7 p.m. is also a good time I have found, but 4 p.m. like that's my sweet spot there. I will print the bedtime blessings on paper or window cling. If you have the right printer, it is not hard at all to print it on a window cling. It's kind of neat because then you could put it in the bathroom and they could look at them as they're brushing teeth. But also in my own house, it's literally just printed and taped up to the wall next to Sam's bunk bed. And his siblings love to come in and have him choose one to pray over him, or he loves to choose one for us to pray over him. And then he starts to learn them and praise them over other people, including his stuffies. I would start collecting pieces of tissue paper, Irish butter boxes. That's for a kaleidoscope craft in the collaborative art prompt, and toilet paper tubes. That's another part of the collaborative art prompts. If you have those materials available, those are the things that would tend to trip families up. If you have them available in your narthex or where kids are dropped off and picked up, they can grab what they want. And I would strategically have a printout of those collaborative art prompts so that they could just take everything and go. I would choose one of the art prompts and a date to do that together, just to, prime the pump, so to speak. And I really like the kaleidoscope one, and I would set that for the first Sunday of Advent when we're reading about keeping watch, because you know how kids love to do this, and it's always fun to have a kaleidoscope. I have made this multiple times in various congregations, and it has always worked out, even with kids that have motor issues, even with older adults that think, oh, this is going to be messy. It is not a messy project. The worst part of it, honestly, is some beads might get loose. But if you use beads that you can see easily, it's easy cleanup, no big deal. And I would have take-home kits for people to take home just in case they don't have the time to stay because they are running to the next event of the day. I would create a display of a few of the books from each age level and put them in a prominent spot. So if people are coming into your narthex, and I would have it there. If they're coming to the sign in, sign out, if they're coming to where the coffee hour is, wherever it is, you've got the people, put up a display, but don't make it a big display. Like seriously, one per age level. So a total of 4 or 5 books tops, so that people really do look at it. And then I would rotate it out in a few weeks so that there's a fresh thing. I would rotate a book in every week so it looks a little different every time. And I would put a basket in the narthex or wherever people are with garbage bags for people to take with them on hikes. So that, again, you're priming the pump. There's no hike this time that involves cleaning up the trail, but it's always something we do anyway. So it's nice to have that and keep it in people's minds. So family hikes, we're here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're rolling into the winter and some of us really get to the cold spots. I'm in Pennsylvania and I'm cold today. I'm wearing a sweater, 2 sweaters, this and a wool underlayer, but we still get out and hike. We just have to make sure we have the right clothes. So if you schedule a pop-up hike and get people excited about meeting you, you're priming the pump and creating another layer of connection for families. Sometimes families don't know exactly how to get this going. If there is a time that they could go with other people and it's just a social time, they're going to feel less like they're in charge of everything. You know what I mean? It's just getting them comfortable with the idea. One of the hikes is caroling through the neighborhood. I would create a playlist on Spotify and get that link to the families so that if they don't have the energy at that point to come up with the songs that they want to sing when they go on a caroling hike, it's there. They can play it in the car. They can play it while dinner's cooking. So the kids start to hear the music and they don't have to think about this when they want to go caroling. And this, there's the Wise Ones hike. My family has done this for years on Epiphany. We just go out for a walk through the neighborhood and we watch for stars. Some years it's cloudy. I have some reflective star stickers for those times, and we just bring them with us. And it always adds a little special something to the situation. That you just do a quick Google search. They pop up on your favorite online realtor very easily, like $6.95 for 144 of them. You'll have them for the next 2 years. You're good to go. So. I'm seeing stuff here in the chat, so I'm going to stop for a sec. Are those questions in the chat? Or are those your links, Karen?
Those are me. Those are things cool. I'm posting.
Do you have any questions for me while I've stopped for the moment?
Yeah, now's a great time you can type in the chat if you'd like to unmute and speak. You're welcome to do that. One of the things that I am excited about, I put some note about the family retreats. One of the things that I always think about that, when I think family retreat, I often think like it's a whole weekend or it's an overnight or it's a 1-day thing. So I just was trying to make clear that these are really more like 2 hours, a 3-hour if it's come and go kind of thing. One of the things I'm considering, because there are always a lot of things happening in the lives of families and churches, and December's busy. And so it can be hard to think like, how do we really want to be adding things like pop-up hikes or family retreats, even collaborative art, in December, do we want to add things? And this year, January 6th is a Saturday. And in my school district, the kids go back to school that like the Wednesday before. So kids will be back, families will be back. And so we may do a pop-up hike, or we may do there's a 12 days of Christmas family retreat. That would be great to do on that January 6th. I don't know if it's it's the first day of Epiphany, but it's close enough to the 12th day of Christmas that I be fine.
Yeah.
Or Friday night. The other option is you could say this is the last day, Friday night, do a 12-day Christmas retreat with a little 12th night bonfire or something afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Could be great. There you go. Yeah. And then you're even liturgically correct, which everyone will just give you all the stars in your crown for.
Oh, yeah. The key on this is to choose what works for all of you. Don't feel that you should do all of this. Please don't do all of this. Don't do all of this. Choose what works for you and your congregation for this time, and then cling on to these plans. And maybe next year there's something you want to pull out of this. So, choose what works for you. And if a date doesn't seem to fit for the families and you need to say, we're going to pretend that our Epiphany celebration is on a different date, that's fine too. It's really okay. There is no liturgical police that's going to come after you and say, that's not when you should do it. No, do what works for you. So
you can do cookies and carols in the middle of January.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, let's be honest. Sickness is coming. It's going to run through a congregation and you're going to have to reschedule something at some point. So don't worry. It's okay. That's how I approach it. We got to go with the families that we have now in this time setting. That's who we're planning for. That's who we were writing this for. Families now, not the families of even 3 years ago, the pandemic families. It's these families. So I'm going to keep going. Is that okay? We're good?
I don't see any questions in the chat. So.
Okay. Again, please don't hesitate to speak up. There. I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. I see something there.
Yeah. Marcus says it depends on in what nexus of entry each of us have been. So
Thank you for sharing that. Here we go. So let's keep going here. So the read togethers, these are some of my most favorite things. My family, we're always reading with each other, by ourselves. There's a lot of reading. So this came out of there. And in my house, I have children between the ages of 20 and 3. So many different layers of books. When I tell you the books that I've included here have been read by me, I literally have read all of them. I've read them with children of all ages. So these are tested books. These are not just things that I thought, oh, I need to plug in a hole. No, these are actual things that I've used. And something that always gets people excited is like this book reveal. So you set up a time on Facebook Live and you say, I'm going to show you the books. Come join us. And you have pretend drum rolls and you can throw up confetti, which is just your scrap paper that you have cut up. They don't have to know that. That's fine. It's creating this exciting mood of, here's what we're going to release this month. Let's see it together. And you give some hints about the book. And then you say, have you seen this book? And then you show the cover and people get excited, and it's a lot of fun. It generates a lot of energy. I would talk with your public library about reserving some copies of the books. I will tell you that librarians are some of my most favorite people, and that's not just because I'm married to one. Librarians truly, really just want to help you. They're like pastors. They just want to help you. And if they can get books reserved for you, they will do so. Another way that I would get people excited about this is to have preset, the cutouts of bookmarks. You just take your scrap paper and make cuts on your paper cutter, or take out your fancy scissors or your regular scissors and just make some rectangles and cut out some old scrap yarn and let the kids go at it and make some bookmarks to take home to put with their read togethers. It's just simple little things that are exciting. The reason I love read togethers is because it fosters this whole family culture. It gives you the same language. You're hearing the same story. You're part of it. You're breathing it. You're waiting for the next chapter. You want to see what's going to happen next. And it carves out 10 to 12 minutes a day where you're together, just enjoying story. There are wondering questions with each of the read togethers that you can talk about. If you just want to sit and read together, that's a-okay. If you want to take it a little farther and connect it with God's scripture, you can absolutely do that. There are questions there to help you do that. I'm going to tell you, every holy moment, I have a book that I call The Biggest Bang for Your Buck, and this is the one I would use this time around. Let me show it to you. Fish in a Tree. This is a great book. It's a young, she's 10, I think, and she has all sorts of trouble in school. The biggest trouble is that she's got a teacher that does not like her and is very mean, and she has one friend, and something happens and there's a teacher change and everything changes for this child. And it shows the power of one connection and what one person can do to foster an amazing culture of change and acceptance and love. It's just a beautiful book, and I highly recommend it. My 3-year-old has sat and listened as I read, and we have special toys that we put out at this. This is not what I would actually choose to read to my 3-year-old, but can they listen along with older siblings? Absolutely. My 6-year-old has loved this as I've read it. Actually, she was as young as 5 and understood it and can talk about it. So it's a wonderful book. You can use it in a few different ways. Let me show you here on the slide. You can choose portions of chapters to read in a children's moment just to get people excited. However, I do need to remind you that if you are live streaming, you cannot really use that book the same way. So it needs to be in a closed environment. You can make it the spine of your weekday ministries. It could be a book club situation. So let's say you gathered on Wednesday afternoons and you could read it together. They could read on their own. Some of your kids are not going to be reading on their own, and that's okay. Audiobooks are also wonderful. Or structure the conversation so they can join and just gather the story from you. We want everyone to feel welcome. And one of the ways I really would discuss, I would talk about how that new teacher bears the light for that child and really makes life so much different for Allie. And what does the light do? How does light change all of us? What does it reveal? Who in your congregation bears light, and how are we equipped to bear light? So this book, honestly, biggest bang for the buck. Fish in a Tree. Love this book. It's in your elementary read alouds. I'm going to switch from the family pack now to the congregational pack. Any questions there before I switch to congregational? No? Then
We don't have any questions there now.
got it.
I was just typing in there about copyrights.
Thank you,
You can
Karen.
read a book into a closed Zoom. You can create a video and you can post it private. Do not post it publicly. You can post it. You can send a video of you reading like over email or something like that. Amina says, "What is Visio Divina?" I love the sound of it.
All right. So you know what? This is going to go better if I show it to you, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So let's do that. Remember, I told you I'm pathetic with my technology skills. So I have to bring it up. Also, my computer is old and very grumpy, and it's going to take a moment for me to bring it up. But Visio Divina is connecting God's word with pictures. The Visio is visual, and that's where the picture comes in. And Divina refers to the scripture. Oh my gosh, I just saw how the closed captioning spells Visio. I love it. Sorry, it's coming. This is my elementary and my middle schoolers' favorite things. They really, really enjoy this. And I'm going to click on the RCL Visio. We have it for the Revised Common Lectionary and for narrative lectionary. So whatever your congregation is using, that's the one to choose. But I brought up the Revised this time. So this is the basic format. You'll see there's a picture to the right, and somewhere in that area, you'll see the date for the week that this is for. And you'll also see, so down here, you can see the scripture. That is a live link. You can click on it and I'll take you to a scripture link. I'm not going to do it because my computer will crash and burn if I do that right now. I'm running too many things on it. But you will see that will work for you. It comes out with a few questions, so you can talk about this as a family, and then a prayer to go along with it. If you will see that all of the talk about it sections end with, I wonder what photo you would choose to connect with this passage, because we are such visual people. And so many of us are walking around with phones that have camera rolls on them. So it's very easy for us to scroll through and find a picture that will connect with our understanding at this point of the scripture. And it's very interesting to pull this back out and read it again and find what picture you connect with that time. Because every time we read scripture, God meets us in a different way and we hear it differently, and a different picture helps connect. And it's just so fun to watch kids connect with that, and the conversations you can have when they show you the picture that they connect with it. And you say, tell me more about why you chose that. They're fascinating. I love being with children. They have so many fascinating things to share. Did that help? I hope.
Mina says that they use a lot of Lectio Divina. And at our last workshop on Holy Moments, we were talking about this, and I remember someone said they were using these Visio Divina lectionary notes with their middle school, Sunday school with their middle schoolers.
Yeah.
And they were loving all of the great ways that middle schoolers were finding pictures in their own phones. You can also, of course, there are photo packs you can make and print out for young children, so they don't have to scroll through a phone. But honestly, I don't know if it's great or not, but I know many, many 2-year-olds who can navigate a photo screen.
Very, very easy.
They can't do everything on a phone, but they know how to flip through the pictures. So
one of the other worlds I live in is the homeschool world. My children are homeschooled, and there's always this debate about whether or not children should be using technology. It's everywhere, that conversation, but it's really amplified, I find, in the homeschool world. And I am of the belief that when we show them how to use it as a tool, they're going to be using it then as a tool. So using the camera roll on your phone for this sort of purpose, I find feeds in very well and shows that God meets us where we are. God is God of all the times, and God knew this was coming. So God's working with us with this technology too. But that's not to say that there's not a place for printing these out too. So You
Yeah.
do what works for you. This absolutely can be used as I was going to talk about it later. This can be used as the spine for your faith formation on a Sunday or midweek, whatever works for you. You can easily do this for 30 minutes.
And it can be used with all ages. Laurel was suggesting if it could be used with adults, and absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's one of the great things about this kind of reflective work, is that it can be used. So as you're moving into the next set of resources, we did have a question about, if I purchase the congregational pack, do I also get the same things I would get in the family pack? And the answer to that is no. You have to, they're done separately. So you can purchase both together, and that's why there's so many links for purchasing this. You can purchase just the family, just the congregation, the family and congregation together, which is a discount, and then all of those things are discounted based on your, it's based on your worship size. But to be perfectly honest, we always say at PRC, our calling is helping you. And so, there's a degree to which is based on the resources that you have available and what you can pay for. Because sometimes a big church has a small children's ministry, and sometimes a tiny church has a big children's ministry, and we just need you to, we trust you.
Yeah, we trust you, and we also want you to reach out to us if there's a concern. We're here to help.
If you purchase one and you say, wow, I bought this, but it wasn't the one I wanted, please let us know. We'll take care of that for you. It's not a problem.
Yeah. All right. Should I get any more there?
Yeah, you can keep going.
Okay. All right. Because I want to honor our time. Let me click the right thing. Here we go. Hi. Did it. Okay. So your congregational pack, Advent in a box, family retreat plans, mission projects, bedtime stories and prayers plan, out the door blessings, plans for 2 separate parent caregiver book clubs, and playground suggestions. You know what? I'm going to stop the share just for another second so you can see. I don't think I made a slide for this, but the parent caregiver book club, the 2 selections are Mary Oliver's Devotions, which is the most accessible poetry compendium you're going to find. One of the most. This is written for people. There's room for everybody in this. This is not something that should overwhelm someone that says, I don't care for poetry. This is very different. And the book club is set up so that it's free choice. You read what you feel called to read. And there are questions to go along with it to help people think about it in terms of their own spiritual development, but also what it means to relate that to your conversations on faith with your children. So that's one of them. The other one is All Creation Waits. This is gorgeous. It is a page for each day of December. So it's not a true Advent devotional in how you'd have something for every day of Advent, but this definitely works beautifully. And it could be stretched throughout the seasons of Advent, Christmas, and Epiphany. I have plans for that all in there, so you can do that. The other thing is, you should know, I don't have it right here. Oh, that was foolish of me. There's a brand new children's version of this. It was just released 2 weeks ago. I did a review. It is gorgeous, and it completely changed what I'm doing for Advent gifts for the families in the congregation where I'm working. Is it right there? Oh, where did I put it? If we have time, I'll go grab it. Author is Gail Boss. It's fantastic. So I have to move. The captioning keeps going over my share screen button, so that's why I'm fumbling with that. Sorry, y'all. Let me come back. So this is what I am literally going to be doing right now. This is what I'm doing with the congregational pack for the congregation I'm working with. I work in I'm going to say it's a largish, for where I am, largest congregation. We are averaging 21.4 kids a week. I have 40 on the 40, registered. So, just about half are attending each week. I started in August. I'm still working with parents so that we build a relationship. You're at that point where you still have a lot of relationship building to do. So I'm using this as part of that. The other thing is, the surprising part to me is that our Sunday school time is followed by something that they called Children Chapel. They just started it when I came, and it's not really a chapel. We're struggling with the name, but that's where my attendance is growing and growing exponentially. So I'm very purposefully choosing things to use in there to reflect the kids that are coming and why they're coming. So I'm telling you this so that you know why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm scheduling a stuffy party on November 12th, and it's going to go through the whole week. The kids are free to bring a stuffy to church. It can go to Sunday school with them. It goes to worship with them. It stays there that night, and I take them into the sanctuary, and I'm going to do bedtime stories and prayers from there and live stream it to the kids so they can see their stuffies and they can hear the story together. And I bless the stuffies and I bless the kids, and then they go off on their week, and the stuffies go with me to our staff meeting on Tuesday and to our nursery program on Thursday and to Sunday school set up on Friday. And I take pictures and I send, that sort of thing. And then I have bags that are going to go home with them on the 19th that gets them ready for Advent. So it's a whole week of thing. And I'm doing this purposefully to launch the bedtime stories and prayers ministry, to gain excitement about what we're doing and to help the congregation remember the children that are in their midst. I'm literally bringing these stuffies. I'm probably going to be walking around with 2 boxes of stuffies into everything I do that week at the church so that they start to see, oh, we need to remember these kids and be praying for them. These stuffies are tangible reminders of them. So I am gathering materials now for the Advent in a Box, and I've put it on the calendar for November 26th. It's that scutchy Sunday, right after Thanksgiving. You're not going to have enough teachers and people are traveling. But if you have pre-made kits for people to take home and an availability for people to pop in during your Sunday school hour and work on the Advent in a Box, it mitigates the need for having a full Sunday school that day. I hope that makes sense. You're all children's ministers. You know what I'm talking about. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm working with a 12-year-old who is reluctant to attend our faith formation classes, but is very happy to be part of things this way. We look for multiple on-ramps for kids and families and not for dividing lines in the sand. We want them to access us however they feel comfortable. I've gathered a youth helper to create take-home packs for me, and actually it's youth helpers now, which is very exciting for me. The We Gather liturgy, it is so gorgeous. Karen wrote it. It is beautiful. Please use this. It is gorgeous. Seriously gorgeous. I love it so much. I'm taking it into my staff meeting tomorrow and getting it into everyone's hands that's on staff. I find that to be key so that they know what I'm using and why I'm using it and how can we coordinate this across different ministries. I make it sound like it's a giant staff. It's not a giant staff at all, but you have staff meetings. There's supposed to be a T at the end of pain buckets. They're paint buckets, the metal paint buckets. There's a joyful noise offering that's associated with the mission projects. And I'm just getting those ready so that that is something we're doing throughout our enrichment groups that week. We have things that meet during the week. The Birthday Lights Mission Projects, that's the one with the birthday cake makings that are going to food pantries, because those are not often covered by what people need. So we want to make those birthdays special also. So I made a postcard that's going to advertise us doing that for the whole congregation, and it's going to go throughout December, and people will bring these to the pageant. The congregation has a long history of having the pageant on Christmas Eve at 4 p.m. So that's what we're doing. And they'll bring them there and they'll be dedicated. It'll be part of the pageant. I have ordered All Creation Waits, the children's edition, as an Advent gift for the families. And I'm trying to get people interested in having a parent caregiver book club. You may be sitting there thinking, I can't do a parent caregiver book club. You can. It's just going to look, it's going to take some time. So I'm in that it's going to take some time situation. I want to keep it at the forefront of people's minds that faith formation is for all. So that's and the children's edition is gorgeous, and it's a great introduction to how we can use the adult version with the adults. I mentioned in the playground part, one of my favorite resources are the Advent cards from Godly Play. It's linked in there. I'm getting those ready to put into our fledgling playground, which is literally just a crash pad where they took out one pew. We need to build this. So that's my first step. Advent's my time to do that. And I've scheduled, as Karen was talking about, the family retreats, they're 2 hours. I built them that way. They could probably take a little less. I scheduled it for the Wednesday of that week between Christmas and New Year's. I do have a bunch of families that'll be sticking around. Not everybody will be available, and we'll miss them, but that's the date that I heard was probably the most accessible. So this is literally what I'm doing right now. These dates have all gone home to parents starting last Saturday. I sent out a weekly email. These were in the weekly email, and I will refresh it each week. What I would do in a different congregation in an afternoon, I would do my calendaring. So I would look at the materials here and choose what I want to use, what I feel that would be used well by my congregation, and I would get them on the calendar. I would not use all of the materials here. I would choose what works and I'd get them on the calendar. And I would gather helpers to do this, to help me along with this, because yes, we need help, but also the more buy-in we have, the more follow through we have. So when you gather helpers, you're gathering follow through. I create that Dropbox or Drive file. For me, it's Drive because I do better with Drive, but some people do better with Dropbox. Use what works for you. I make a basket of supplies. Everything I need for the ministries that I chose, everything's getting into that basket so that I'm not floundering through the supply closets trying to find what I need. I'd rather spend my energy getting it together than trying to find things. If I don't have something, and really, I'm hoping you have everything. Everything that I used in there came out of my supply closet. I don't want you to have to spend extra money, but get it in your cart now and get it ordered and get it here by the first week in November so that you can really just coast. And if you're using the out the door blessings, I would preset them to send at 7:20 Monday morning. 7:20 is purposeful because that's when elementary school kids are either getting up and getting ready or getting dropped off to before care. Your high schoolers are on the bus and walking in, so it's another connection for them. Families are seeing what's going on. 7:20 is that sweet spot where they're going to receive that. 7:12 for some reason also works, but 7:20 sticks in my head better. So just putting that there. Both the congregation, the family pack has so many resources you can pull apart to build what you need for the ministries that you have going at your congregation. So the pop-up family retreats, you can pull pieces out and use them as part of faith formation. You could choose one center each Sunday and do that. It would be great in a multi-generational setting as well. As I mentioned earlier with the Visio Divina, the pop-up faith, it says you could do pop-up faith formation. So like it just send out something. Let's say you're in a congregation where you're struggling to get teachers, but you say, hey, this coming Sunday, you send it out on Thursday. We're going to be gathering 9:15. We're going to be using this Visio Divina. Bring a photo album or bring your camera, your phone. We're going to work with it together for 30 minutes. Bagels will be there or donuts or something. And people will come. You'll be surprised when you say pop-up, people come for a pop-up. We have a lot more families that are not ready to make commitments at this time, but if you say it's a one-time thing, they're there. Midweek hybrid or online-based groups using the read together suggestion. So I find the key to getting people together midweek is making sure it translates incredibly well to being online. Families can't necessarily get to your church building, but they will hop on to Zoom. They will hop on to Google Meet. They will hop on to whatever it is that you decide to use. And you'll have much more regular attendance if you make sure that you have an online version of what you're doing. Bedtime stories and prayers is one of my most favorite things to do. Collaborative art projects honestly work really well at 4:15 on a Wednesday afternoon. You can do every one of the ones that are on there on Zoom. I've done each one of them on Zoom. Multi-generational hikes. Some people are not ready to be in a building, but they are ready to gather outdoors. You can take those hikes that we have in there and use them as a way, an on-ramp for people so that they feel comfortable gathering in the corporate body. Multi-generational collaborative art. There is something so special about watching the grandparent ages working with the wee ones on the same art project. It builds so many relationships. I love it so much. Um, I would really look at those as a offering for your multi-generational ministries. And I would take what you really like and make a course catalog, and nothing super fancy. Honestly, just a piece of 8.5 by 11 that you fold over, offerings on one page, 2 offerings on one page, 2 offerings on the other, and something on the back that says, can't wait to see you. You know, something super simple so people can see what you're offering, when you're offering. And you could have a QR code if you want them to sign up, but it could honestly just be, this is when we're meeting. Join us. We'd love to have you. So, also this, if you look at doing things out of the box, like it just, you don't have the teachers to do what you would ordinarily do. You can set a rhythm to what you offer. And you could have, like, the second Saturday would be hikes. The fourth Sunday would be collaborative art. Every Wednesday you'd offer something online. So you do wind up having a full slate of offerings, but it's not your traditional Sunday morning from 9:15 to 10 a.m. You can use the pieces in our holy moments to round that out. So I really just talked for 45 minutes straight, didn't I? I'm so sorry. Nobody wants to listen to me that long. What questions do you have? What have you done that can help others? You know, please feel free to chime in here.
We had a question. Chelsea was wondering how many moments there are going to be, and that's something that I technically should know, but I am not always the best at remembering, because we did summer, we did fall, we've done now Christmas and Epiphany. How long does this one go? Does it go up until Lent, or?
Yep. It's that Sunday,
Yeah.
February 11th. Is
Right.
that it?
So this one includes all, like your Visio Divina for the lectionary and the and the narrative and revised will all go through that that January and February time, and then we'll have another one starting in Lent. And
it will release
different.
It'll release January 1st. I'm actually working on it now. This week is the Visio for Lent and Easter. And that will release January 1st. So we'll have Lent and Easter. Then there'll be one for Pentecost. And then we're right back where we started with our ordinary time one, meaning the summer for us Northern Hemisphere people. That will release, I want to say May 15th. I am looking at my sticky note over there. So yes, ordinary time summer is, I can't see, it's far away. It's either May 1st or May 15th. I can't read it. Ordinary time autumn will release July 15th. So does that help? It's all the liturgical seasons.
So I think, Chelsea, I think I just counted 5 seasons per year. But we offer a 4-moment bundle, because, you know, some people don't want to, you want to do other things, or you want to do something else in the summer. Or personally, I love, so in my congregation, I often will buy use the family materials that are created just for families, and you make those into kind of giveaway packs and bags. And I give those to families. And I really like having those, especially when they're when they're on the road, or they're traveling, they're moving around a lot. So I especially like it in the summer, but you know, it depends on you use it how you use it. Okay, more questions. Oh, I just said I put the We Gather candle lighting liturgy in the chat. Elizabeth did a great job on the slides today, but she did say they are the thing she struggles with. Copy editing is my number one nemesis. And so there is a typo, at least one. That's okay. Just change it, or change it just because you want to change it. I made the We Gather candle lighting liturgy for you. You want to edit it? You want to change it? You want to cut something out of it? Put something else in? Enjoy. That is created. That's a free resource. So I went ahead and put that in the chat. Arca said, are you a life coach helping people design and structure their life? Elizabeth, I don't know. Maybe that'll be your like 13th career for her children. I'm sure she is.
Oh, no, I'm a great coach in what not to do, y'all. My 3-year-old learned how to serve himself canned fruit yesterday and ate 2 giant family pack cans. So, you know, that take a cautionary lesson from me. learn what not to do. Any other questions that we can answer for you? No? This is the quietest it's been in my house
Yeah.
all day.
While y'all are thinking, along, if you like We Gather, if you like that theme, I did create, our light resources are really focused on family interaction and on more like curriculum or congregational gathering. They're not really worship focused, but the We Gather candlelighting liturgy is, and I do have a whole set of resources based on We Gather that is worship focused. So I have storytelling that for the Revised Common Lectionary scriptures that you can use in worship. I have liturgy for the worship service that is available. That is, prayers of confession, prayers of illumination, prayers of dedication, all that kind of thing, and as well as DIY congregational Advent devotional, various things like that. Mina asked, can you say more about the Advent ideas for the playgrounds or the in-person worship space?
I'm pulling it up. Just a sec. You're going to hear me tapping. Sorry. Here we go. Let me share my screen. Okay. So my goal on Playgrounds is to support kids in there with tools so that they can hear what's going on as they are using their energy, and also to support families that are sitting around there so that they know that their children and their energy are welcome. And it's easy to take the everyday items and mark them as sacred. So the first few parts of the playground are just the basics of setting up a playground. We have a fantastic webinar here at PRC about setting up your playground. They are the experts, so absolutely go watch that webinar. But here's what I would have for the rotation for Advent. Ornaments to color are some of my favorite things to put in there, and illustrated ministry has some of my most favorite ones. They're very easy to for all kids and all ages. I had a multi-generational setting once with everybody doing that. They're not too small. The cutting points are very smooth. So it's not like there's a lot of intricate, delicate cuts that need to be made. And it's just a lot of fun. And coloring is something that you can easily do while you're listening to what's going on during worship and you're worshiping along. I love to have different candle stickers and circles for the Advent wreath and just have kids build their own as the Advent lighting is happening. But that leads in also to the Advent cards from Godly Play. This is a live link. Again, my computer's cranky, so I'm not going to click it, but they are seriously beautiful things. You could purchase them and they're much more expensive than getting the PDF download and having them there. You could pre-color them. You could have the kids color them. It could be a project. That's what I would put there. I would stay away from bells. I love bells, but there are some people that do not love the sound of extra bells there. Then I have stuff for Christmas and Epiphany. Again, illustrated ministry, their nativity sticker sheets are fantastic. And I think they're still having a sale. I don't remember, but they're not exorbitant. They do sell out though. So if you want them, get them soon. These are all live links. Sensory tubes are a lot of fun. I find at Christmas and Epiphany, there's a lot of energy with kids. I mean, there's energy in Advent, but then you get to Christmas and Epiphany and we are somewhat overstimulated. We are overtired. We've seen a lot of people. We haven't seen enough people. We haven't gone to bed. We got up early. We're eating weird foods. We need things to use with our hands that's going to help us center ourselves. Sensory tubes are some of my favorite things to use. Super simple to make and super cheap. You can use recycled bottles, water bottles. Don't use glass, use the plastic ones. I usually am a glass person, but you don't want glass in your playground. Love drawn here coloring art. This comes from a Sanctified Art and the Nativity printable. This is from an Etsy shop. I do really like what they have here. Just make sure you're choosing the correct licensing, because there's a difference between buying for just an individual family versus buying for a church. Nativity Busy Book. This was cute. You could purchase this, but also origami paper to make Waldorf stars. Very simple YouTube video here. You just learn how to make one fold, show one kid, and everybody there will know how to do it. It's very simple. One of my kids has motor issues and he makes the biggest Waldorf stars every year. It's not an issue for him. So if it's not an issue for him, I promise you others can do it. And really collect them, save them for Epiphany, and put them around the sanctuary. It's gorgeous. So does that help? What I meant in the, let's see. Okay, cool. I'm glad that helped, Mina. Oh, Mina, if you've got some, please share. We'd love them. Yeah, sensory areas. Yeah, because really around those holidays, everybody's overstimulated. And when you're already grappling with lots of sensory input, it can just be even more. So having friendly spaces for everyone is so important. Any other questions, comments?
Laurel said ideas for stuffing nativity calendar bags. I'm guessing that's like a bag with a nativity or an advent calendar in there.
Are you talking about the Advent in a bag or Advent in a box kits? I just want to make sure that I'm answering the correct question. Stuffing of nativity calendar. So I'm just, until I hear for what you actually are asking, Laurel, I will tell you what not to do in terms of an Advent calendar. One year I made one on Canva and I thought it was great. I thought, oh, this is fantastic. I even made the windows. I had everything line up. I forgot to factor in that you have to use an X-Acto knife on all of those to cut the flaps. Don't do that. It's too hard. It takes you forever. Don't do that. So little burlap or paper bags. So yes. Karen, remind me, do we send out an email after this?
Yeah, I'll send out everyone who registered will get a link to this recording.
So I can't remember if it was in the children's ministry cohort or our teacher cohort, but we were talking about Advent calendars in one of them, and there were a bunch of different resources. We will get those links, Laurel, in this email that goes out so that you can see my favorite ones. But in a nutshell, what I like is I use certain places for inspiration and then I purchase it and I take it apart to make what I want, because I don't like a Christmas countdown calendar. I like an Advent calendar. So I will take all the ideas that are in something and then set it up for the days of this year's Advent. And you can then put them into little burlap or paper bags. You know what I really like better than those, though, are those mini envelopes, like with the lift the flap. You can get them at Staples. I would show you, but some kid of mine licked all of them and I can't open them anymore. So I can't. They're like 2 inches high, maybe 1.5 inches wide. I really like to use those because then you could paste them onto oak tag or cardstock, or kids can use them as magnets on dry erase boards. So those are my favorite things to do. They're easier than working with the paper bags. Also, they're smaller, so you don't feel like you have to put treats into all of them. I really do like having conversational Advent calendars. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
LOL with my kids looking at. One day I'm going to find out who did that, and I'm going to show up at their house as an adult, like all their envelopes. Never going to win Parent of the Year award. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to know you as a grandmother, Elizabeth. I'm excited for that. we will still be friends and I will enjoy that. Mark it. We're still going to be friends. We're still probably going to be doing Zooms about children's ministry. Yeah, we are so grateful for all of you who are here. We are going to send all of this with more links as a follow-up. Also, when you get a link to the recording, the chat does record. So if you just joined, you probably can't see everything that's been in the chat. That's one of Zoom's weird things. But when you click on the recording, you'll be able to see the whole chat. We have all kinds of. We're excited about light. We're excited about this Christmas season. We're so glad that you're already working on Lent. Great.
So my kids, they walk around going, Are you working on holy moments again, Mom? And then someone yells, "Holy moments, Batman!" Like that's the catchphrase in my house.
It's excellent. You can always send us an email at PRC. We say everyone has a calling and ours is helping you, and we mean that. Elizabeth is probably, I am not the most responsive email person, but I will eventually get to you. Our colleagues are really incredibly on the ball and they are checking their email all throughout the day and responding very quickly. That is not always the two of us. We are off-site remote workers doing all kinds of other things. But we do want to be here for you. Great. Well, we thank all of you for being here with us. It is a joy to be with you. It's always a joy to see you, and thank you for taking your time to be here to learn about light. Again, if you have any questions, let us know. And we wish you days full of peace and purpose. Bye, everyone.